High school. If your experience was anything like mine or numerous students around the country, it was filled with question marks about the future, constant drama and gossip that was so unnecessary, and just being bored by the end of the time you're done with high school. You didn't want to be in class anymore. I didn't want to be in class anymore. Nobody wanted to be in class. There's a thing called senioritis that happens to all of us. Now, I think it's time we change the American education system because students should want to be in school. So, what's my idea? I think it's about time we integrate community service into high school learning because students are just sick of constantly sitting in the classroom. Can you think back to your 12th grade history class and remember who the 17th president was? Unlikely. Now, think back to a time when you were in a class and did a project outside the class. Whether it involved the community or anything else, you most likely remember that because you were working with friends or yourself and learning a lot more than you ever learned in the classroom. By doing community service outside of the classroom, students will become much more immersed individuals in the community, become more well-rounded, and feel better about themselves. The speech that I'm going to give today will tell you why community service is so important for high school students and why it is needed in the high school curriculum. By doing community service, students feel much better about themselves and their self-esteem will be boosted. According to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, suicide is the second leading cause of death for college-aged youth and ages 12 to 18. I pause for a second because you really need to let that sink in. Suicide is the second leading cause of death. No high school student should kill themselves. High school is the beginning of your life, and it's filled with so much unnecessary drama, gossip, and honestly, bullshit. High school kind of stinks. But later on in life, your life can get so much better, and there is no reason for anyone want to kill themselves. Now, listen to this stat. A study of data from the American Changing Lives Survey found that those who volunteered reported higher levels of happiness, life satisfaction, self-esteem, a sense of control over their life, better physical health, and lower level of depression. That sounds like something all high schoolers need. Like mentioned, you're young when you're in high school. You're not really sure how the world works, and you can overreact about numerous things. And it's important to feel good about oneself. Think about when you've been in the classroom and feel good about yourself. You do a lot better, and you want to learn. Now, if you've ever had a girlfriend or boyfriend break up with you and sat through class, it is almost impossible to learn. And in high school, there are numerous things like that always constantly going on. So, if you're doing community service, your self-esteem will be raised. And you won't be thinking, and even if something terrible happens to you, like your girlfriend breaking up with you, your boyfriend breaking up with you, you'll still have a reason to feel positive about yourself because you made someone's day better. Now, communities will also grow along with students' self-esteem. Think about your interaction with older people when you were in high school. My remembrance is I thought older people looked at us like degenerates. Also, I thought that the police were constantly out to get me because whenever we were at parties, the police would show up and they would arrest people. Now, if you worked with the community will get to know you. So, by working in the community, not only will the community grow, things like gardens, parks, soup kitchens, anything that community service details, but you'll also have much better relationships with the community around you. Currently in America, there is a big problem regarding racism and discrimination. Listen to this stat. According to the Pew Research Center, 57% of Americans face discrimination. I pause for that too. Why? Because America is a country of immigrants. So many Americans, if you're white, you're an immigrant. Get over it. Now, think about people who are racist and won't accept other people in their lives. It's kind of ridiculous. We're all human beings and we all have the same blood, water in our bodies, and are made of bone. There is no reason for there to be hate amongst different cultures. By doing community service, multiculturalism will be expanded in high school as you'll be forced to work with new people. Young, old, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Italian, any different race. You'll be working with new people and you'll learn that there's no reason for there to be discrimination because all people are the same. Now, let's go back to sitting in class in high school. It stunk. I remember the best thing in high school was getting out of school and going home and hanging out with your buddies. Now, imagine if you could hang out with your buddies at school and get something done that was positive. That's what community service will allow. Now, not only will you be hanging out with your buddies and helping the community, but colleges will be more interested in you. One of the best things to put on a college resume is that you did community service or helped the community. Colleges will be extremely interested in this, and more students will be competing in community service. So, because of that, there will be constant competitions in community service. So, for example, if I decide to help the soup kitchen and I'm applying to a top school, you may think, I want to get into that top school, so I might run the soup kitchen. Community service will grow and grow and grow. As we've learned this semester, communication skills for people our age kind of stink. Now, if you're working constantly outside the classroom with other people, you're going to learn how to communicate with people. You're going to learn teamwork, you're going to learn patience, and you're going to learn how to work together. By doing that, you'll become a much better rounded individual, especially in sense of communication. Now, finally, students will be interested in giving back later in life and may find out what they're interested in later on. Now, I had to do 20 hours of community service because I got in trouble. Before I got in trouble, I thought that I wanted to be a businessman when I grew up and make a lot of money. That changed until I started coaching and helping out the community. Because I coached for 20 hours, I found out that my real passion was sports and coaching. And now I'm going to go into a coaching field or become a teacher. So, in conclusion, let's think about this. High schools will improve because students will be more interested to come to school, become better learners, there will be less drama, students will feel better about themselves. That's great. Now let's use logic too to the community. Communities will grow, more people will know each other, multiculturalism will expand exponentially, and people will get to know each other, as I said, along with the community growing. Now, why wouldn't we add community service into the education system? I don't know why. Thank you very much. Good night.